Hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome to another Today's Decay, where we celebrate births and beginnings of everything important since the dawn of time. July 9th edition, all day. And what happened today? The visionary, the artistic heavyweight, Basil Wolverton was born in 1909. His career went from soup to nuts, really, or I suppose one could say from mad to plop. How often do you get to say something like that? But seriously, he where did he get his start? All sorts of nonsense. It's all like, is it almost like psychedelic? I don't even know what you would call this. He just very much immediately, or pretty damn soon, fell into his own style that like nobody else was doing ever. And then got into like, comic book art specifically, and was an early Mad magazine writer, and as I mentioned, that eventually flopped. But in the meantime, what is it? Weird Tales of the Future. I mean, just absolutely, you don't get any cooler than some of these covers of Weird Tales of the Future. I feel like there's a real industry standard that EC Comics maintains, with Bill Gaines as the head of. But a lot of these companies that like followed in their footsteps really did some wonderful work. The same goes for the horror comics, but like, I mean, there you go. It's a horror comic, ain't it? Yeah. Basil Wolverton. So very good. So yeah, do check him out. These books are excellent. By the way, if you were wondering, the bit for Wolverton. Anyway, right. This one is specifically Brain Bats of Venus, Volume 2. There's a Volume 1 as well. What else? Soledad Miranda, born today, 1943, who a good deal of her work was collaborating with Jess Franco. This would be the high point of Jess Franco's career. I would say she was very much his muse, and the work they did together, he never came near again in the rest of his life. While he does have some like good other chapter points, don't get me wrong. Stuff like She Killed in Ecstasy, Vampiro's Lesbos, his Count Dracula, Jess Franco's Count Dracula, starring Soledad Miranda alongside Christopher Lee. Those to me are probably like the three. I didn't pull out the Dracula, but here's Vampiro's Lesbos and She Killed in Ecstasy, which both of which Severin Films, who put out these versions, have just upgraded them or announced that they're upgrading them. Now's your chance, one way or the other, for the cut rate older version or the brand new and improved version for some Soledad Miranda on the day she was born. Unfortunately, she died in a car crash when she was like 27. 27! She could have had so many more years of doing so many wonderful films. That's really quite a shame for all of us. What else? In 1953, Thomas Ligotti was born. I am late to the game on the Thomas Ligotti work, but I've done my best to catch up, and he's helped me with it because his work is very, very good. And here are two of my favorites. The 80s, early 90s printings, something like that. Grimscribe, I think, is my favorite. It's hard to do because like I just keep finding out more, and I feel like part of his deal, he is so inspirational to a younger world of writers and artists out there. I think for a series of reasons. I think he's very, while he as a person is not very approachable, I think his career is very approachable. While he's very much has his own language or style that he's writing in, he certainly is borrowing from and inspired by the weird tales of old, especially Lovecraft and adjacent, and yet doesn't have any of the stigma of like Lovecraft and such, Additionally, I think, again, part of the inspirational part here is he is apparently he like wrote for many, many years, and like never thought his work was good enough, and like throughout a good deal of his work for like years and years. So what was that like? Who the hell knows? Um, yeah, and meanwhile, here's some relatively modern printings of his work, because a lot of it was out of print for a while. But he's very much had a resurgence, and I think a lot of this you can um, I don't know, is it symbolized? Uh, anyway, I think that like everything that happens at the Necronomicon in Providence every other August um, is almost like the children of Thomas Ligotti more than it is the children of the Weird Tales stuff, because that is like ancient history, and a lot of people have a lot of problems with it, understandably, because of how dated and unfortunate some of the content is, which is not here. Although this content is dark and brutal, so here anyway. So Chiropter Press has taken it upon themselves to release brand new versions of a good deal of his stuff. I'm guessing eventually they're going to get through it all, but it's just absolutely beautiful. Like, right, look at that. Love it. And then here's one they put out. This is all like in the last couple of years. Some of it may even still be available. This is Crampton, and I love. This is a not published but unproduced script he wrote in the late '80s for the X-Files, which I love. John Paget is really, who's also a wonderful writer, has really championed Thomas Ligotti with like audiobooks and such, which are excellent too. But I love this segment here, the foreword that John writes. One of the first things that Tom, as he signs off in his emails and letters, sent me was a copy of an unusual collaboration he had just written with his friend and co-worker at the time, Brandon Trends, a teleplay for a proposed episode of The X-Files. The manuscript arrived without fanfare at my apartment in a meticulously bound black folder signed by both Ligotti and Trends. It remains a crown jewel of my not insubstantial Ligotti collection, and likely always will. The X-Files, then still in its 5th season, was my favorite show on television. And Ligotti was and is my favorite author. So the teleplay entitled Crampton is classically stark Courier typewriter font, called for an immediate read. I was not disappointed. The show played out in my imagination as I read the words of the script, and I still have distinctly visual and audio memories of it, as if recalling the fully produced show itself. So precise and masterful were the plot, characters, dialogue, and atmosphere. It was immediately and definitively the best episode of The X-Files I had ever seen, in quotes, even if it was doomed never to actually be made, because the showrunner, David Carter, would not accept unsolicited work. Only one can speculate that if Carter had known who Ligotti was and how high the author's literary star would rise, he would have accepted the teleplay eagerly. And so it's all right here for you to read through. What else we got here? This is a beautiful one. The agonizing resurrection of Victor Frankenstein. I'm telling you, Chiropter Press is killing it. It's just beautiful. Can you see this? No, maybe. Yeah. I love it. Love it. Anyway, there's plenty more, but I think you get the point. Do dig Thomas Ligotti on the day he was born, 1953, July 9th, all day. A little under the weather. Till tomorrow. Goodbye.